By now, a pattern should be clear. The United States does not just guard military bases or government offices. It guards places that do not seem to need guarding. Places with vague descriptions, places that appear abandoned, places that officials acknowledge only when forced to. What makes these locations unsettling is not just the security, it is the lack of explanation. Today we're counting down part 3 of the top 10 places in America guarded 24/7 for unknown reasons. Most people think Camp David is just a retreat, but very few know what exists beneath it. Camp David in Maryland is widely known as the Presidential Retreat. It is heavily guarded above ground, which makes sense, but below the cabins and forest trails is something rarely discussed. During the Cold War, an underground facility was built beneath Camp David. Officially, it was described as a secure shelter and communications hub. However, documents released decades later show that the underground sections are far larger than the surface complex. The facility includes reinforced chambers, independent power systems, and deep tunnels that connect multiple sections of the property. These areas are guarded constantly by federal security, separate from the guards protecting the surface cabins. What makes this unusual is that Camp David is already close to Washington and already protected by NORAD airspace. The added underground security suggests a function far beyond a simple shelter. Former maintenance workers have stated that there are sealed sections they were never allowed to enter. Even Secret Service personnel assigned to Camp David are restricted from certain underground areas. No official explanation has ever clarified what these deeper sections are used for today or why they remain guarded at all times, even when no president is present. This missile site was officially shut down decades ago, yet it is still guarded like it's operational. Across the United States, former missile sites were decommissioned after the Cold War. Most became parks or were abandoned completely, but one site near Everglades National Park in Florida stands out. This location is fenced, monitored, and patrolled 24 hours a day. Security cameras remain active, gates are locked, and federal officers respond immediately to anyone attempting to access the area. According to public records, the site was deactivated in the 1970s. No weapons are supposed to be stored there, no testing is supposed to occur, yet the infrastructure has been maintained. Satellite imagery shows that underground launch bunkers remain intact, power lines still run into the site, ventilation systems are operational. Local officials have asked why the area remains restricted and receive no answer. The National Park Service defers to federal authorities, the Department of Defense claims no active role, and despite this, guards never leave. For a site that's supposedly empty, it's treated like something inside still matters. This vault stores music and film, but one section is guarded more heavily than the rest, and no one really explains why. Granite Mountain Records Vault in Utah is famous for storing master recordings and films. It is dug into a granite mountain and designed to survive disasters. Most of the facility is well documented, however, there is a restricted wing that is not included in public descriptions or tours. This section is protected by separate security, requires additional clearance, and remains inaccessible even to most vault employees. Former staff have stated that the restricted wing contains materials that are not entertainment related. Deliveries arrive under escort, equipment inside is different from the rest of the vault, and the doors are reinforced far beyond what would be needed to protect audio recordings. The company that operates the vault has never commented on the purpose of the restricted wing, and government agencies have also declined to confirm any involvement. Given the vault's ability to survive nuclear-level disasters, analysts believe the restricted section may store classified data backups or government records, but without confirmation, it remains an unanswered question. There is a base in North Carolina that officially does not exist, but its security is impossible to miss. Harvey Point Defense Testing Activity is located near Hertford, North Carolina. It is commonly associated with the CIA, though the agency rarely acknowledges it publicly. The compound is surrounded by fences, sensors, and armed guards. Airspace above it is restricted, boats are prohibited from approaching the shoreline nearby, and publicly Harvey Point is described as a testing site for equipment, but this explanation does not match the size of the facility or the level of the security. Satellite images reveal mock urban environments, airstrips, firing ranges, and structures designed to resemble foreign cities. Underground sections have been confirmed through construction records, but their purpose remains classified. Despite its size and activity, very little information about Harvey Point has ever been released. Even local government officials are kept at a distance. The facility is real, the guards are real, the reason behind the secrecy remains unknown. The town knows the antennas are there, but no one knows what they are listening to. Sugar Grove is home to one of the most secure communications facilities in the country. While parts of the site have been publicly acknowledged, certain sections remain unlisted and inaccessible. These areas are surrounded by additional fencing and guarded separately from the main facility. Personnel who work in one section are not allowed into the other. Even contractors are restricted based on compartmentalized clearance. Officially, the facility handles satellite communications, but internal documents released through FOIA requests are heavily redacted and provide no detail about specific operations. What is known is that this location operates 24 hours a day and is treated as a high-value intelligence asset. Any approach to restricted zones triggers immediate response, and what the government listens for here and why certain sectors are hidden even from oversight remains unanswered. Everyone talks about the gold vault, but no one talks about the buildings around it. Fort Knox is famous for its gold vault. The vault itself is heavily guarded, which is expected. What is less understood is why several nearby buildings are guarded with the same intensity. These auxiliary structures have no public description, they are not part of the visitor center, they do not house offices, yet armed guards patrol them continuously. Satellite imagery shows that some of these buildings have underground access points. Power and ventilation systems run between them and the main vault. The U.S. Treasury has never explained what these structures contain. Given the level of protection, analysts believe these buildings may store materials beyond gold. Possibilities include classified financial records, emergency currency reserves, or assets not publicly disclosed. Whatever the case, the security suggests these buildings are just as important as the vault itself. This warehouse looks ordinary, but it has armed guards and no public inventory. Located near Palmdale, California, is a FEMA-controlled warehouse that receives regular shipments but has no listed contents. The building is guarded 24 hours a day by federal officers. Unlike typical FEMA warehouses, this facility does not participate in disaster response drills. Its trucks do not deploy during emergencies, yet deliveries continue year-round. The warehouse draws significant power and contains underground storage sections according to construction permits. Surveillance cameras cover the entire perimeter and nearby roads. When journalists attempted to inquire about the warehouse, FEMA declined to provide details and cited national security exemptions. The existence of underground sections suggests long-term storage rather than temporary supplies, but FEMA has never confirmed what is stored there or why it requires constant protection. Cheyenne Mountain is famous, but there are tunnels that extend beyond it that are not publicly acknowledged. These tunnels are not listed on public diagrams. However, geological surveys and maintenance records confirm their existence. The tunnels are guarded separately from the main complex. Entry points are hidden and monitored. Motion sensors detect movement underground. The government has never explained the purpose of these extended tunnels. They do not appear to be escape routes. They are too large for simple utilities. Former contractors have stated that some sections contain sealed chambers that were never used during their time there. Despite the lack of public purpose, the tunnels remain under constant surveillance. Inside a base known for biological research is a building with no name and non-stop guards. Fort Detrick in Maryland houses major medical research facilities. Most buildings are well documented, but one building is not. This structure has no signage, no public designation, and no accessible records describing its function. It is guarded at all times by military police. Employees working nearby report that deliveries are handled under strict protocols. Access requires clearance beyond what is typical for the base. The Department of Defense has never acknowledged the building publicly. Requests for information are denied. Given Fort Detrick's history, speculation ranges widely, but the truth remains locked behind security checkpoints. There are tunnels under the Capitol that most officials will never see. Washington, D.C. has an extensive underground network. While some tunnels are public knowledge, others are not. Certain access points are guarded around the clock. These entrances lead to underground federal facilities that are not described in any public document. Security cameras monitor these areas constantly. Federal officers restrict access even to maintenance crews. The government has never released a full map of underground federal infrastructure beneath the city. What exists has been pieced together from leaks and construction records. The level of protection suggests these facilities play a critical role in national operations, but exactly what that role is remains unknown. All right, guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlovsky, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye. And if I don't see you again before the end of the year, have an amazing and very happy new year with your loved ones and families. I'm wishing you all the best for 2026. Bye.